Do you know the story of a Hebrew boy that was sold as a slave in Egypt? So come with me, let's open the great book. This is Joseph. He was Jacob's favorite son. Well, I think that having a favorite child is really unfair. But nobody's perfect, right? And Jacob's imperfection caused a huge trouble. Check it out. Jacob gave Joseph a new colorful robe that was really beautiful. And, of course, his brothers got jealous of him because of that fashionable piece of clothing. And every day, Joseph's brothers got more and more angry with him because he was Jacob's favorite son. One day, Joseph had a dream, and he rushed to tell his brothers. He said, "I dreamed that we were binding sheaves of grain. Suddenly, my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." Oh, but his brothers got so irritated. They said, "So, that dream means that you will reign over us? Oh, come on, you are so full of yourself." After that, Joseph had another dream, and he did the same. He rushed to tell his brothers, saying, "I had a dream. It was like this. The sun, the moon, and the stars bowed down to me." This time, his father heard what he said and called his attention, saying, "Come on, will your mother and I and your brothers actually bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers were so jealous, but his father was thoughtful. A few days later, Joseph's brothers had gone graze their father's flocks, and Jacob asked him to go there and check if they were okay and bring him news. And Joseph did so. When his brothers saw him approaching, still far away from them, they started to plot. "There comes that arrogant dreamer. Let's throw him in the cistern." Reuben, his oldest brother, tried to protect him, telling them not to hurt him, but what they did was terrible. When Joseph reached them, his brothers took off his new robe and threw him in an empty cistern. They left him there and went away for a meal. Suddenly, a caravan came. It was going to Egypt to sell their spices. That's when they had an idea. As Reuben was not around, they offered Joseph as a slave to those foreigners in the caravan. And they accepted and bought Joseph for 20 silver coins and took him with them to Egypt. What a horrible attitude! I've seen brothers that fight like cat and dog. But selling their own brother as a slave was a bit too much. Oh, but when Reuben returned and didn't find Joseph in the cistern, he was desperate. He said, "Have you all lost your minds? How can we arrive home without our brother? Our father is going to be heartbroken." But his brothers had an idea. They killed a goat, spread its blood on Joseph's robe that they had kept, and went home, willing to make up a story about finding that robe in their way home. When Jacob saw Joseph's bloody clothes, he started to cry, saying, "One animal has devoured my son!" And he cried for many days. When the foreigners in the caravan arrived in Egypt, they sold Joseph in a fair. And Potiphar, Pharaoh's captain of the guard, bought him. Joseph was in a really terrible situation. He was his father's favorite son, and now he is a slave in a foreign country, having to work hard with no salary. But God did not abandon him. No, God was with Joseph and blessed everything he did. Potiphar, his master, noticed that Joseph succeeded in everything he did because God was with him. So he promoted Joseph and made him his own attendant, managing everything he owned. This way, God made Joseph successful in Potiphar's house too. His flocks were so healthy, his crops were huge, and everything was pretty fine. Potiphar was quite happy with Joseph's work in his house. Joseph was a smart, handsome young man, and that's why Potiphar's wife started to flirt with him. What? She was a married woman. This is not good at all. But Joseph ignored her. First, because she was a married woman, his master's own wife, and also because he had a great responsibility of taking care of everything that Potiphar owned. He didn't even consider to betray his master. He was faithful to God, and he knew what was right and what was wrong. But that woman insisted. She insisted so much that one day she strongly grabbed his robe, and do you know what he did? He ran away. He ran away from that woman, leaving his robe in her hand. Oh, this made her so angry that she started to scream, saying that Joseph had attacked her. Look at that! What a cunning woman! She kept Joseph's robe, and when Potiphar arrived home, she told him that Joseph had attacked her. And when she screamed, he left his robe behind and ran away. What an outright lie! And of course, Potiphar believed in his wife, so he sent Joseph to jail. At this moment, Joseph could have thought, "Come on, I always do the right things, and for the second time, I've been wronged, even after being faithful in every way." But this was not how Joseph reacted. Do you know what he did? He became the best prisoner there. The prison warden liked him very much because he was kind and organized. And because of that, he made Joseph the leader in that prison. And he succeeded in everything he did there. One day, 2 new prisoners arrived in the prison, the king's cupbearer and also his baker. As usual, Joseph took care of them, as he did to all other prisoners. But one day, they both had dreams. It happened in the same night, but the dreams were different. They both got really worried about the dreams they had. When Joseph noticed that they were sad, he came to talk to them. So the cupbearer told Joseph his dream. He said that there was a vine. This vine had 3 branches that produced lots of grapes, which I squeezed in a cup and served it to Pharaoh. And Joseph, led by God, interpreted his dream, saying, "The 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days you will be restored to your position, and you will serve Pharaoh again. When it happens, remember me, and ask Pharaoh to set me free. I was unfairly arrested." When the baker saw that Joseph interpreted the cupbearer's dream well, he told him his dream too. He said that there were 3 baskets with bread on his head, and in the top basket there were lots of baked goods that Pharaoh liked. But the birds came and ate them all. Joseph, led by God, interpreted his dream. The 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days Pharaoh will kill you, and the birds will eat your flesh. Oops! That's a terrible interpretation. I think that the baker did not like anything that Joseph said about his dream. Let's see what happened. 3 days later, it was Pharaoh's birthday, and he offered a feast for all of those who worked with him. And when they were all celebrating, Pharaoh presented the cupbearer and the baker. He restored the cupbearer to his position, but sent the baker to the gallows. It all happened exactly like Joseph said when he interpreted their dreams. But do you think the cupbearer remembered to talk to Pharaoh about Joseph? No, he forgot. 2 years later, Pharaoh had a really intriguing dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river there came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. After them, 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt, came up out of the Nile and stood beside those on the riverbank. And the cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the 7 sleek fat cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. He fell asleep again and had a second awkward dream. 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted, thin and scorched by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up. In the morning, Pharaoh was really worried because of those dreams. So he requested the presence of all magicians and wise men in Egypt to come and interpret his dreams. But no one was capable of doing this. At this moment, the cupbearer remembered Joseph, and he rushed to Pharaoh and said, "Pharaoh, when I was in prison, I met a Hebrew prisoner who used to serve the captain of the guard. The baker and I had dreams when we were there, and he interpreted them, and everything he said happened to us. I was restored to my position, and the baker was hanged." When Pharaoh heard this, he asked his servant to bring Joseph to his presence. Joseph took a shower, shaved, changed clothes, and went to the palace to talk to Pharaoh, who told him, "Joseph, I had 2 disturbing dreams, and nobody in Egypt could interpret them. I heard that you can do this. Could you interpret my dreams?" Will Joseph be capable of interpreting Pharaoh's dreams? What do they mean? On the next video, we will see what happened. So, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss it. See you soon. Bye!